This is Integrated Math 1. It's Reveal, and it is section 1-2, number 74, the word problem. And it's talking about a toy manufacturer who produces some blocks with edge B that can be used by children to build play structures. The production team is analyzing the amount of paint they need for a block. So they want to paint these blocks, and so for painting something you're going to use surface area. Letter A says the production team decides to use one coat of paint for each block. Write an expression representing the minimum amount of paint needed for one block with edge B. So I drew a little picture of the block. So when you're talking about painting, you're talking about surface area because you're covering the surface. Like this is kind of like a block, right? I'm going to paint the front, and I'm going to paint the back, and I'm going to paint the top, I'm going to paint the bottom, I'm going to paint the two sides. So a block like this one has 6 faces for me to paint. So I need to have enough paint to cover the front, and then there's another panel back there that you can't see. I need paint for the back. I need paint for the bottom. You can't see it, but it's down there. I need paint for the top. I need paint for the side. I need some paint for the other side that you can't see back there. So all these, if I just add up how much paint it is for all 6 faces, that would be the total surface area. So I know that the area of just a plain old square or any rectangle would be base times height. So it's going to be b times b because it's a perfect cube. So that's b squared for all the sides are b squared. There's 6, sorry, not sides. All the faces are b squared. So there's 6 faces. So 6b squared, that's the answer for letter A, because letter A wanted to write an expression for the minimum amount of paint needed to cover this block. Okay, letter B wants, I think they want to use 2 coats for each block. So write an expression representing the minimum amount of paint needed for one block with edge B. So this is the same thing, but for 2 coats of paint. So all I have to do is just get twice as much paint, I have to cover twice as much surface area. So all I have to do is just multiply that by 2. So that gives me 12b squared. That's the answer for B. And then letter C says the production team purchases cans of paint that'll cover 60 square inches. Write an inequality. So inequality isn't equal sign. It's those. It's these ones that look like this. These are, These are inequalities, like greater than or less, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. So I'm supposed to write an inequality representing the maximum length of edge B in inches when the block is covered with the minimum amount of paint needed for 2 coats of paint. Well, we just figured out the minimum amount of paint for 2 coats of paint was 12b squared. Alright, so I need to write an inequality, so one of these kind of symbols, and I know that I have to cover 12b squared. So my paint, 1 can of paint is 60 inches. Okay, so 12b squared has to be 60 square inches. So my block has to need less than 60 square inches worth of paint, if that makes any sense. If my block has too much surface area, the paint will run out. So I have to go 12b squared is less than or equal to 60. And then I want to solve that because I really need to know how long the side is going to be. So I solve it by dividing both sides by 12. And 60 divided by 12 is 5, and that cancels out. And then that's what b squared is, but I need to square root both sides. And so b ends up being less than or equal to square root 5 inches. So, and square root of 5 is, well, I don't have my calculator with me. The square root of 5, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 9 is 3, so it's probably 2 point something. You can put that in your calculator if you want. Hope that helped.